Have you ever imagined what life was really like behind the walls of Victorian palaces? How did a nobleman's day begin, and how did he spend the long hours until nightfall? Join us now on a quiet journey where we'll uncover the hidden details of noble life in the Victorian era. And as you listen, tell us in the comments, which part of this life would you have wished to experience, and which part do you think you could never endure? So, let's open the gates of the palace with the first light of dawn and begin our story from the very moment of awakening, when the entire household rises to welcome a new day. As the last threads of night fade away, the Victorian palace begins to stir. Servants move in synchronized steps, the soft sound of their shoes breaking the silence of the long corridors. Heavy windows creak open, velvet curtains are drawn aside, and the first rays of sunlight slip into the room, carrying with them the cool scent of morning dew. The air feels refreshed, as if the palace itself is breathing once more after a long slumber. In the kitchen, another rhythm begins. Stone ovens release a pleasant warmth, and the smell of fresh bread mingles with the fragrance of melting butter. On the great table, polished silverware glimmers beside white porcelain plates, while freshly picked flowers are arranged in delicate glass vases. Every detail matters. The fold of embroidered napkins, the placement of seasonal fruits, even the angle of the crystal glasses awaiting the sparkle of daylight. Upstairs, the governess moves swiftly through the rooms, opening doors and waking the children with a voice that balances kindness and firmness. There is no room for delay, for discipline is considered more important than the desire to sleep in. The children rise reluctantly, their faces still half asleep, but they learn from the very start of the day that order comes before comfort. The adults, meanwhile, prepare in their chambers. Basins of warm water have been carefully set, ready for washing the face and hands, a cleansing not only of the body but a symbolic readiness for the day ahead. The sounds of morning weave together, footsteps on polished wooden floors, muffled laughter among servants, doors opening and closing in measured rhythm. And when the table is finally ready, the master and lady of the house enter with quiet dignity. Their place at the head of the table marks not only the beginning of breakfast, but the official opening of the day itself. This moment carries the weight of ritual more than a meal. It is a ceremony that sets the tone for everything that will follow until night returns. After breakfast, the palace enters its next rhythm. Servants carry away trays and replace them with carefully chosen garments for the day. In the dressing rooms, wardrobes stand like silent guardians of status, lined with silks, velvets, and finely tailored suits. Every piece of clothing tells a story, not only of wealth, but of the unspoken rules of fashion and etiquette that governed Victorian society. For gentlemen, the ritual of dressing is a statement of rank and dignity. The starched collar, the polished boots, the perfectly knotted cravat, each detail must be exact. For ladies, the process is far more elaborate. Layers of garments, corsets tightened with precision, fabrics flowing in colors chosen to match both mood and occasion. What may seem like vanity is in truth a language of appearance, a silent conversation with society itself. Once dressed, the household divides into its daily activities. Gentlemen often retreat to the library, where shelves of leather-bound books await. There, between maps, volumes of history, and ledgers of estate accounts, the affairs of land and business are quietly managed. Elsewhere, letters are written with feather pens dipped in ink, the scratch of the nib punctuating the silence of the study. The ladies, meanwhile, move toward the salons, where light streams through tall windows onto patterned carpets and carved furniture. Here, the day might be filled with music, embroidery, or reading aloud from novels freshly arrived from the city. These moments are not merely leisure, but a demonstration of refinement, a measure of one's culture and taste. Beyond the walls, the gardens await. Paths wind between rose beds and marble statues. Fountains cast their silver spray into the air, and the steady sound of hooves carries the gentleman toward the fields for hunting or horseback riding. The hunt, in particular, was more than sport. It was a stage for displaying courage, skill, and the bond between noblemen. Inside the palace, time slows. The children, guided by their tutors, sit in smaller rooms where globes, chalkboards, and stacks of books shape their early education. Discipline and knowledge are considered the true pillars of inheritance, more lasting than wealth itself. And as the sun climbs higher, the household begins to prepare for the next ritual of the day, afternoon tea. The drawing room is transformed into a scene of elegance. Porcelain cups are set upon lace-draped tables, while steam rises from silver teapots filled with blends brought from far across the seas. Thin slices of cake, warm scones with clotted cream, and delicate sandwiches are arranged with artistic care. Conversation flows gently about politics, literature, or the latest news from London, each word chosen as carefully as the notes of a piano. But afternoon tea is more than refreshment. It is a performance of manners, a training ground for wit and social grace, where every gesture, every smile, becomes part of the unspoken dance of Victorian society. As the golden light of late afternoon filters through the tall windows, children are released from study to play in the gardens. Their laughter drifts across the lawns, echoing against the palace walls. For them, wooden toys, hoops, and the simple joy of running among the hedges create a world untouched by the weight of adult duty. Soon, however, the palace prepares once more, for nightfall brings its own rituals. The grand dining hall, lit by chandeliers of crystal and flame, becomes the stage for the evening meal. Here, nobles gather in their finest attire, exchanging words over polished silver and dishes that reflect both tradition and the latest culinary fashions. Music follows. The sound of violins, the soft touch of the piano, and the measured steps of dances long perfected. Guests move gracefully across marble floors, their movements reflecting centuries of inherited etiquette. But when the last note fades and the candles burn low, the palace gradually falls silent again. Servants close the shutters, footsteps soften in the corridors, and the great building seems to exhale as its residents retreat into their private chambers. The final ritual begins, the night routine. Garments are carefully removed and stored, jewelry locked away, prayers whispered in the quiet of the bedchamber. Heavy curtains are drawn, fires dimmed, and silence spreads once more through the halls. Thus the day of a Victorian nobleman comes to its end, woven from duty, ritual, luxury, and restraint. A life that from the outside gleams with elegance, but within rests upon rules, order, and the relentless rhythm of tradition.